Part 4. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 31. She specially selected the pieces of wood from the bed that had fallen apart at the junkyard, and after putting it together, only one leg was missing. Feng Qingxiu put together a coffee table and placed it on the corner of the bed with missing legs. The corner of the bed was a few centimeters higher, but it was acceptable. Feng Qingxiu was at a loss as to how to make doors and windows. Let's do this for now. Anyway, we don't have anything coveted in our house right now. Feng Qingxiu clapped her hands and looked at the sky. She had been busy all afternoon and it was almost dark. Qingyun walked around the bed. Sister, we have a bed. It would be great if we had a quilt. In the past, she and her sister also had a quilt. Although it was old, her sister always washed the quilt cleanly and made the cotton loose and soft. However, when they were kicked out of the house, their second sister-in-law occupied. The second sister-in-law is the worst, bad, and overbearing. My sister-in-law is not a good person either. She took away my sister's clothes and shoes. Feng Qingxiu put the cooked rice soup on the coffee table. Only half of the tabletop supporting the bed was used. Sister will find a way to get 2 new quilts. Come over and drink rice soup. A thick layer of rice oil formed on the surface of the soup. Feng Qingxiu and her sister drank it up separately, and each ate half of the black noodle steamed bun. After dinner, Feng Qingxiu carried 2 pounds of sorghum noodles mixed with black noodles and took Qingyun to find Feng Erhu, an old carpenter in the production team. Feng Erhu is Fengfu's sworn brother. He is honest, loyal, and shrewd. Looking for him will make people think that he is coming to help out of Fengfu's affection. In fact, the most important thing is that he has a strict mouth, so Feng Qingxiu asked him to make doors and windows, and promised to give him 3 kilograms of sweet potato noodles as wages after the completion. Feng Erhu agreed without saying a word. There are 5 kilograms of noodles in total, enough to feed my family for 3 or 4 days. Feng Erhu didn't ask where Feng Qingxiu got the food. The world was very difficult, who didn't have some secrets? Besides, the lives of Feng Qingxiu and sister Feng were not easy, otherwise they would not go out to beg for food every day. Early the next morning, Feng Erhu came with his eldest son Feng Dazu and took the tools borrowed from the production team. Seeing that there was a bed with missing legs in the room and everything was neatly tidied, Feng Erhu's eyes flashed with surprise, and then he calmed down and took it as a matter of course. Everyone knew that Feng Qingxiu was famous for being clean. Feng Dazu had already married a wife and had children, but he was as honest as his father. As soon as he came in, he and Feng Erhu worked hard. Seeing that they arrived so early, Feng Qingxiu guessed that they might not have had breakfast, so she mixed some brown rice and corn crumbs with the few remaining sweet potatoes shared by the original owner and Qingyun to make some thick porridge. Uncle, you and brother Dazo can get busy after eating. Feng Qingxiu filled 2 full bowls of rice and asked Qingyun to get 2 steamed buns. One is cornmeal, and the other is wheat bran mixed with sweet potato flour. Of course she brought these back yesterday. Because Qingyun believed everything she said, she brought back more food. The types of waodu and flour rolls she brought back were different to show that they were obtained from different families. Looking up to see such thick rice and such a steamed bun as big as half a fist, Feng Erhu quickly waved his hand. No, no, you have paid wages, how can we eat your and Qingyun's rations? We can't even eat this during the new year. Of good stuff. Continuous natural disasters have led to extreme shortages of supplies, and the people have not had such a good meal for a long time. Feng Erhu was skilled and worked hard on the production team. He received more work points throughout the year and the food was better than other families. Even so, his family did not eat pure noodles during the Chinese New Year. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 32. Feng Qingxiu forced the rice bowls to them. Uncle, you and brother Dazu, don't be so polite. Only when you are full can you have the strength to work, right? Besides, I often go out to beg for food now. I go to more houses and meet kind-hearted people. People can always get enough food for me and King Yun. Feng Erhu felt very uncomfortable when he heard the word begging. But there was nothing they could do. Firstly, they were unable to help the Feng Qingxiu sisters. Secondly, there were many people going out to beg for food, and they had gone there too. After eating, Feng Erhu and his son worked even harder. Qingxiu, the wood you got is good. The worst is old elm, and the best is Huanghuali. In the past, only rich families could afford these. Feng Erhu has been a carpenter all year round and has a good eye for it. Feng Qingxiu smiled, they get what they don't need from scrapyards and various households. Feng Erhu nodded and didn't ask any more questions. At noon, it was still sweet potato porridge and steamed buns, which made both father and son feel warm. According to Feng Qingxiu's request, they finished the doors and windows and installed them, which were quite strong. Then they made a bathtub, and then used the remaining wood to make a wardrobe, a cabinet, and 4 small stools. Many of them are furniture parts, which makes Feng Erhu's work much more convenient. At least he doesn't have to cut wood shavings and polish them. It's just that the parts are not complete, and the pieced together furniture looks a bit funny. Feng Qingxiu doesn't dislike it at all. If it is perfect, it will attract a lot of people's attention, which is not a good thing. Feng Erhu and Feng Dazu, father and son, rearranged Feng Qingxiu's bed and made a bed leg out of chicken wing wood to put on it. The remaining materials were not wasted. Feng Erhu and his son made a wash basin and a foot basin, which were tied together with bamboo strips. Even though they worked very hard, they still worked hard for 2 days to finish all the furniture. In the evening, they carried 3 kilograms of sweet potato noodles given by Feng Qingxiu home. Except for Feng Erhu's wife, no one else knew that Feng Qingxiu had given them food for work. Money does not take care of food. In doing so, Feng Erhu and his wife also wanted to avoid causing trouble to Feng Qingxiu. With doors, windows, tables, chairs, beds, and cabinets installed, the home finally looks a little different. Feng Qingxiu was very satisfied. The first thing she did was to boil a few pots of water with the big copper kettle that was a little bumpy after being beaten by the scrap yard. After cleaning the tub, she took a pleasant bath. I was running around here and there every day, and scrubbing before going to bed every night was of no avail. My body was almost rotten. After she finished washing, she also gave King Yun a bath and put on clean pants. When she was taking a shower, King Yun was outside watching the door, otherwise King Yun would definitely discover the autumn clothes and long trousers she wore underneath. However, the autumn clothes and trousers she had worn could not be washed and could only be temporarily placed in the dirty clothes basket in the space inside. While King Yun was sleeping, Feng Qingxiu sorted out the materials in the space and dug out a lot of materials for old-fashioned autumn clothes and trousers from a large pile of various fabrics. Some were made of small floral flowers with a light yellow background, and some were light pink. There are small floral flowers with light blue background and pure blue background. She sewed 2 sets of autumn clothes and autumn trousers for herself and King Yun overnight, one light blue and one light yellow. King Yun woke up and saw new clothes, and was so happy that she danced on the bed. "Sister, you are so kind." King Yun snuggled into her arms, squinting her eyes happily. "After I moved out with you, I lived a good life like never before. I had food to eat, clothes to wear, and a house to live in and a bed to sleep on." King Yun clasped her fingers, making Feng Qingxiu laugh. Holding this smart little girl in her arms, Feng Qingxiu said seriously, "Sister, I will let you live a better life." Yes, King Yun believed that she would do what she said. Now isn't she living the good life she dreamed of? You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 33. Feng Qingxiu was thinking about Ansu, so she went to the city early the next morning to return the sled, and then prepared some supplies to send over. Among them were the cotton, sheepskin, and rabbit skin she promised to her second elder, as well as enough fabrics and autumn clothing materials to make clothes and quilts. They were not good materials, but they were definitely good in this era. In addition, there was cotton, fabric, needlework, etc. for herself and King Yun to make cotton-padded clothes. Ansu was asked to help make clothes. Either she doesn't know how to make clothes, or she can't make them at home in front of King Yun, so it's hard to explain the source. In addition, some coarse and fine grains and rare supplies such as brown sugar, oil, etc. were also given. Auntie, you and uncle can keep the fabrics to make clothes and quilts. If you have old clothes, take apart 2 pieces to make cotton-padded clothes and coats for me and King Yun. The old clothes won't be eye-catching when we wear them. I'll finish them in 2 days. Come and get it, Feng Qingxiu said seriously. Although Ansu didn't quite understand why she did this, she still agreed to her. Okay, girl, we don't have anything else. We just have a lot of ordinary old clothes. After all, they are not worth much. Even if some are burned, there are still a lot left. If you don't think I'm dirty, I'll take them apart. I'll find some of my old clothes, wash them, and make 2 pairs of clothes for you and your sister. I'll also make 2 pairs of cotton shoes. Give me the measurements. Feng Qingxiu felt relieved and thanked her repeatedly. She really worked hard to put on her clothes. If you take the food back and eat it directly, you won't be discovered. People will always see you when you wear these clothes. Daughter, you don't need to thank me. We should be thanking you. With your food, we can survive. Ansu took her hand and expressed her heavy gratitude again and again. By the way, your uncle has an old friend who lives not far from here. He used to be a capitalist. His children and grandchildren have disowned them. The old couple are almost starving to death. We gave them some food and they took it. The old man asked me to exchange grains with you, whether they are coarse grains or fine grains. With that said, Ansu turned around and took out an ordinary-looking wooden box from the box on the bedside. She handed it to Feng Qingxiu and winked at her. Your uncle is a scholar. Our family has limited money, but their family is different. Very wealthy before the founding of the People's Republic of China. Feng Qingxiu smiled, opened the wooden box, and was shocked by the jewels in the grid. Probably considering that she is a girl, girls naturally like jewelry, so Uncle Su's friends also brought out jewelry. Inside the wooden box are square grids with black velvet underneath. Rings, earrings, brooches, etc. are embedded in the slits of the black velvet. Necklaces, pendants, and bracelets are fixed on the black velvet with needles and threads. There is a set of jewelry placed in each grid, and there are 2 grids in total. A set of high-ice jadeite jewelry with a full color of Shenyang green, including a pair of bracelets, earrings, rings, a bead chain, a brooch, and a pendant. The Shenyang is dense and full of water, and the green shines green on the wind and snow. Head and face. There is some cotton wool and cotton thread inside, which is not perfect, but at a glance, it can be ignored, and the flaws are not covered up. 1 level difference in species and 1 level difference in color will result in a price difference of 10 times or 100 times. This set of jade jewelry is far more valuable than the jade bracelet that Ansu gave herself. The other set is diamond jewelry, necklaces, earrings, and rings, all of which are mainly pink diamonds and surrounded by white diamonds. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 34. Not to mention that the main diamond is very heavy, even the matching diamonds are not small, and regardless of the pink diamond or the white diamond, the fire color is very good, but the style is older, very much like the 1920s and 1930s that Feng Qingxiu has seen in movies and TV series. Old Shanghai style. Beautiful green and beautiful diamonds, both are top quality. Even though Feng Qingxiu was mentally prepared, she still couldn't put it down for these two sets of jewelry. It's really so beautiful and precious. After living so long in my previous life, apart from seeing such top-notch products in the news, all of which were owned by wealthy families, how could I have the chance to see them in my life, let alone own them? Now, these top-notch jewelry appear in front of me, and they will soon be owned by me. Seeing that she liked it very much, Aunt Sue smiled knowingly. At that time, kerosene diamonds were purchased with gold, and 1 carat was worth dozens or even hundreds of taels of gold. Aunt Sue said. Feng Qingxiu's heart moved. Auntie, from your tone, have you ever stayed in old Shanghai? As far as she knows, only old Shanghai can speak kerosene drill. I lived there for more than 10 years. Aunt Sue's voice was full of memories. It was also at that time that I met these two old friends today. However, our hometowns are both from here, otherwise our friendship would not be so good. Except labor reform here. Aunt Sue closed the wooden box and shook her head. I won't say it anymore. I won't say it anymore. It's just sad if I say it. Who would have thought that these proud men of heaven would fall to this level? It is no less than falling from the sky to the earth. If they had not donated most of their family wealth to fight against Japan and served the country, they might not even be able to save their lives now. Okay, Aunt, I'll come over before dawn tomorrow. Feng Qingxiu put away the jewelry. Aunt Sue warned her before she went out, the old woman's life is more exquisite and meticulous than mine, and her old man dotes on her. If you can get more refined food, please get more. With me and your uncle here, they won't. I'll treat you badly. Good. Feng Qingxiu agreed to Aunt Sue, and then went to Zhao Tiankai's house. After knocking on the door, the person who opened the door was a middle-aged woman. It's not quite appropriate to say she is a middle-aged woman, because she is at most 30 years old, has pretty features, and looks good, but the times have made her face full of vicissitudes, haggardness, and bruises. Hello, comrade, I'm looking for Aunt Zhao and Tiankai. Feng Qingxiu guessed that she was Zhao Tiankai's mother. She guessed right. The other party was Zhao Tiankai's mother, named Zhao Qiaheng. She looked at Feng Qingxiu. She didn't react at first, but then she realized it and immediately greeted her warmly. Comrade is the kind-hearted sister Tiankai said, right? Comrade, thank you for saving my mother and my son. Please come in, please come in. Tiankai is going out to play, and my mother is at home. As soon as she walked into the yard, Aunt Zhao came out of the house after hearing the sound. My dear daughter, you are here. Come and sit in the house. It seems that Aunt Zhao has recovered and her legs and feet are very flexible. While sitting in the room talking, Zhao Qiaheng quickly brought an enamel jar of water. Comrade, let's drink tea. If we hadn't met you, my mother and Tiankai don't know what would have happened. Thinking of what happened to his family, Zhao Qiaheng's tears fell involuntarily. Feng Qingxiu sighed. There was no other way but to comfort her. After all, it would take more than 10 years for such days to end. Life will be difficult before the 10-year catastrophe comes. What will happen then? Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 35. Sister, wipe your tears quickly. We won't cry anymore. Tears are worthless in this world. Many people have too much time to take care of themselves. No one will pity us because of tears. Sister, you are old and young, so you should be stronger. I know, I have never experienced what you have experienced, eldest sister. It is a bit inappropriate for me to say these things, but they are true. Aunt Zhao nodded, agreeing very much. Qiaheng, this girl is right, it is better to die than to live. Just endure the torture now, as long as you can. Only when you endure it can you have success. If you die, there will be nothing. The old man couldn't help but recall the past and use it to teach his daughter. When your father and I joined the army to fight the Japanese, what kind of hardships did we not suffer? What kind of sins did we not suffer? We all crawled out of the dead. We are all rough people and do not pay attention to the nobility and dignity of those scholars. Face, if the superiors ask us to write inspections, we will write inspections. If we are asked to undergo labor reform, we will do labor reform. We will do whatever they ask us to do. If we have a softer attitude and be more obedient, our lives will be much better than those who are tough. Zhao Qiuheng nodded heavily with tears in his eyes. Feng Qingxiu was a little surprised. She didn't expect this old man to be so open-minded and flexible, but that's right. In this era, you have to be open-minded to survive. Whoever goes to a dead end with stubbornness will not lose his life. Auntie and uncle have been on the battlefield before, those were anti-Japanese heroes. Feng Qingxiu was in awe. Aunt Zhao nodded, we have joined the army since we were children. We were also revolutionary partners who met in the army. We fought for more than 10 years until the founding of the People's Republic of China. We were still fighting in the war. Qiuheng and my son you have never seen before were both on the battlefield. Born. You are veteran soldiers and you should receive preferential treatment. Why? Hey. I don't know if you understand what I said. Before, it was about fighting, but now it's about governing the country. There are always people like your uncle in our family who were implicated for no reason. Last year, he was sent to the Northwest. He couldn't communicate with us. I don't know what he is doing now. How's it going? We also returned to our hometown at that time. It is better to be in our hometown than in the whirlpool in the capital, Zhao Qiuheng added. Feng Qingxiu, who had watched this history, understood immediately and asked no more questions. As if she had remembered something, Aunt Zhao took out a roll of money and tickets from her arms and handed them to Feng Qingxiu. Auntie, what are you doing? Feng Qingxiu pushed back. Daughter, you helped us a lot last time and saved Tiankai's and mine's lives. Otherwise, when Qiuheng came back yesterday, we would all be dead. I know how rare it is to have good food, and there's nothing we can do if we have money. Buy it. Keep the money and tickets, otherwise we will feel bad. The most important thing is that I don't want Tiankai to develop the temperament of getting something for nothing. Feng Qingxiu's hand stopped, took the money note, and put it into the basket without counting it. Madam, if you say so, I will accept it. I will pour some food for you next time and bring it over, no matter how big or small it is. Everyone, let's get through this difficult time together. Feng Qingxiu was full of respect for the anti-Japanese soldiers who had protected her family and country. Although they were not in power now and might bring disaster to her, she was determined to put this family within the scope of long-term help. Without soldiers, where would our country be? Behind the bloody battles of soldiers, people can live and work in peace and contentment. However, she only intended to help the poor, not the poor, and had no intention of being responsible for their food and drink for a long time. After leaving Zhao Tiankai a handful of fruit candies that he used as a topping when buying supplies, Feng Qingxiu left the Zhao family. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 36. She was thinking about whether the materials in the space would be enough to last for 20 years, and suddenly she remembered the money and tickets that Aunt Zhao had given her. I took it out and counted it, and found a total of 32 yuan and 43 cents. The scattered cloth stamps added up to 5 feet 2 inches. There were no food stamps, but there was a bicycle ticket that expired at the end of the year. Bike ticket. She knew this and had found it from the information. In this era, a bicycle is no less than a car. It's still Phoenix brand, which is a famous brand. In her previous life, when she was a child, her family had a Phoenix brand bicycle and a Phoenix brand sewing machine. They were very large and heavy. She even fell down when she was learning to ride a bicycle. They were both dowry from her grandmother, and there was also a Shanghai brand watch. However, as she grew up, the bicycle and watch tended to be scrapped, but the sewing machine continued to work and was very durable. If you have a bicycle now, it will be more convenient to get in and out of the county, and you can also go to the city. As for whether she will be discovered by her neighbors, Feng Qingxiu said that the portable space can come in handy. So, she happily ran to the department store. She noticed these big-ticket items last time she was in the department store, but she just didn't have the money to buy them, and most importantly, she didn't have the tickets. I heard that tickets are also in short supply. When you enter a department store, you can easily see counters selling bicycles, sewing machines, watches and other items. There are many salespeople. Most of the saleswomen are sitting and talking about knitting sweaters, but there are not many products. "Hello, comrade, how can I sell Phoenix bicycles?" Feng Qingxiu asked bluntly when they arrived at the bicycle sales office. The salesperson was a woman. She looked up at her and replied, "It's 158 yuan. You need a ticket to buy it? So expensive?" Feng Qingxiu was speechless. Based on her contacts with people like Aunt Su and Aunt Zhao these days, she knows a lot about prices. Regardless of the high price of food on the black market, which is caused by the famine, in fact the price of food sold through legitimate channels in the country is extremely low, which further highlights the expensiveness of industrial products. Fortunately, I have enough money. However, it seems that flowers are not allowed. Feng Qingxiu murmured and took out 158 yuan and the bicycle ticket. After checking the ticket and counting the money, the salesperson quickly pushed out a bicycle. The crossbar is large, with a dark base and a phoenix-shaped pattern on the slash. It looks very beautiful and high-end. The brand new bicycle, except for the tires and pedals, was shiny from top to bottom. On the steel white handlebar, the sound the bell makes when pressed is very clear and sweet. A phoenix-shaped logo and the word Phoenix are nailed to the black painted bottom pillar under the front of the car, which looks very impressive. Feng Qingxiu pushed the bicycle out of the department store, stepped on the pedals and climbed onto the seat. She pushed her legs hard and walked into the wind. She felt uncomfortable at all. The wind blew on her face, causing her skin to ache. His hands instantly became cold. It was still early, there was no point in going back, and since she had no money, she went to several black markets around the city. "I sold some coarse and fine grains in batches to different people, about 80 kilograms, and received a total of more than 400 yuan. In one fell swoop, I made up for the money I had previously spent, and it was several times more." Feng Qingxiu never met anyone like Aunt Su who exchanged valuable jewelry for food. Instead, she helped an old couple who were about to die on the roadside because they were so hungry that they fainted. Ride home. After riding all the way to the foot of the mountain, when no one was around, I put the bicycle into the space, and then crossed the mountain with the loaded backpack on my back. When they arrived at home, Feng Qingxiu was shocked by the person who appeared in the house. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 37. Sitting in the room were 4 middle-aged men and women, 3 men and 1 woman, with patched clothes and weathered faces. There were backpacks at their feet. On the ground were 2 sacks and 2 small cloth bags also patched, with everything inside. Although the things are not full, they are bulging. In addition, there are 2 old quilts on the bed. Qingyun sat in the arms of a middle-aged woman, eating a piece of cake with a cheerful smile. They were facing the door and saw Feng Qingxiu for the first time. Qingyun immediately jumped down and said, "Sister." Following Feng Qingyun's cry, everyone in the room looked at Feng Qingxiu. After a gradual diet, the two Feng Qingxiu sisters finally gained some flesh and looked like people instead of skeletons. Feng Qingxiu secretly maintained them carefully, and her eyebrows were delicate and bright, and the beauty of a girl began to bloom. Snow. The middle-aged woman shouted, and countless fragments flashed through Feng Qingxiu's mind, remembering the identities of these people. The original owner's uncle, second uncle, third uncle, and aunt. Feng's mother's maiden name is Wang. She has 7 brothers and sisters, 4 brothers and 3 sisters. She has 3 brothers and 1 sister, and 1 brother and 1 sister. They all survived to have a family and a career, and are highly envied by the locals. Today only my 4th uncle and aunt are not here. In Feng Qingxiu's impression, these 2 men were as stingy and harsh as her 2 brothers. Among the uncles, aunts, and my own parents, the 4th uncle and aunt are the most capable. My aunt married into a cotter family, and after the founding of the People's Republic of China, she found a regular job with the help of my husband's family. My 4th uncle is a regular employee of a coal mine in the city. In addition to his salary every month, he also gets a fairly high food supply. Uncle, second uncle, third uncle, and aunt, you are here. Feng Qingxiu put down her backpack and hurriedly called for someone. In the memory of the original owner, these elders were very good people, and they never favored boys over girls. Their family conditions were better than those of the Feng family. In the past few years of famine, the Feng family had had a very difficult time, and no one of them was short of help. Originally, the entire Feng family could survive, but they couldn't compete with the loving heart of Father Feng and Mother Feng for their children and grandchildren. After Feng's mother died, they rarely interacted with the Feng family. They knew very well that although the food usually given to the Feng family could not make people full, it could keep the Feng family brothers and sisters from starving to death. Hey, Uncle Wang agreed, you 2 sisters were kicked out of the house and have nothing. Why don't you go find us? No matter how difficult it is, I can still feed you and prevent you from starving to death. Aunt Wang stood up and said, yes, Shui, it doesn't matter that Xiaoun is young, but you are not young anymore. It's not like you don't know the way. You almost starved to death and had to beg for food. Why don't you know how to find us? If I hadn't heard you people talking about it at the gathering yesterday, your uncles and I wouldn't have known about it. Although it was a reproach, his tone was full of care. Feng Qingxiu felt warm in her heart. Since time travel, she has helped many people, but this is the first time she has received care from others. Auntie, I know I was wrong. Feng Qingxiu immediately admitted her mistake. I thought that the famine has been going on for 2 or 3 years and every household is having a hard time, so I didn't dare to come and bother my uncle and aunt, mainly because the food is enough to feed Qingyun and me. Aunt Wang reached out and patted her shoulder. You kid, why are you so stubborn? Don't talk about the child, give her the things you brought to keep first, Uncle Wang said, and the second and third uncles agreed. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 38. After hearing this, Aunt Wang quickly opened the sack and the small cloth bag. Most of the sacks were potatoes, and the other half were sweet potatoes. The small cloth pockets contained sorghum noodles and sweet potato noodles, weighing about 10 kilograms. Aunt Wang turned to face Feng Qingxiu. Shui, our family has gathered some food and brought it to you. It's cold, so don't go out begging for food, and raise Qingyun well. Qingyun can only count on you now. I'll ask your uncles to dig a cellar for you later, and put the sweet potatoes and potatoes in it so that no one will find out about it. We'll figure it out after we finish eating. Feng Qingxiu's nose felt sour, and tears almost came out of her eyes. And, as far as she knew, although the living standards of these families were better than those of the Feng family, they could not bear to suffer from years of famine. The country had very tight control over supplies. They often provided aid to the Feng family, and they also had family members to take care of. Life will not be very comfortable. Now that so much food has been sent, the deep friendship is higher than the mountains and deeper than the sea. Grain, on the black market, 1 pound of grain is equivalent to 1 gram of gold. It is recorded in the data that the current gold purchase price of banks is 5 yuan per gram. How could Feng Qingxiu not be moved? While being moved, she also felt regretful about not visiting the relatives and elders who had been kind to the original sister. Aunt Wang took out a bag of clothes and some dried vegetables, sweet potatoes, and other things from several backpacks. I brought you some clothes. They are all old clothes worn by my family. I specially cleaned them and brought them over. No illness or disaster, you two will just wear whatever you want. I heard that you were kicked out of the house with nothing, but Qingyun still got her clothes back. When this was mentioned, Aunt Wang became very angry with the second sister's 2 sons. When a disaster is approaching, it's time for the family to work together to tide over the crisis. However, the 2 nephews actually kicked their sister out of the house, which shows how cold-hearted they are. They are so similar to my eldest sister and younger brother. Before they are developed, they don't recognize their brothers and sisters, lest their brothers and sisters drag them down. Auntie, actually. Feng Qingxiu almost said that she had food, but she swallowed the words as they reached her lips. This was a secret and could not be revealed to others. You and uncle don't have to worry about us. I can raise Qingyun. In order to show that she would keep her word, Feng Qingxiu opened her backpack in front of him. Fortunately, she didn't want to make Feng Qingyun dependent on food that was too good, so she prepared only whole grains today. In the backpack, a small cloth pocket contained 3 or 4 kilograms of sorghum flour, wheat bran, black flour, corn flour, and sweet potato flour mixed together. A small cloth pocket contained 4 or 5 steamed buns and rolls, some with corn flour and some with sorghum. There were noodles, some were black noodles mixed with vegetable leaves, some were whole or half, and it looked like they were obviously collected from different families. After all, there are a lot of good people in the world. Go to a few with better living conditions. When they heard that I was in trouble, they enthusiastically extended a helping hand. One family would give a little, and several families would be able to provide enough food for me and Qingyun. Feng Qingxiu said. Aunt Wang strongly agreed with her statement. Yes, there are many good people in the world, it just depends on whether you are lucky enough to meet them. Uncle Wang was the oldest, over 50 years old. He knocked the pipe pot on the stool leg, and the ash fell on the ground. Then he stood up and said to Feng Qingxiu, Shui, you and your aunt come out with me. Oh. Although Feng Qingxiu didn't understand, she followed her uncle and aunt out of the house and stood 4 or 5 meters away from the door. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 39. Uncle Wang has a simple and honest temper, but is also very shrewd. He is the backbone of the Wang family. At the same time, he is also the party secretary and team leader of the Wanglu production team where the Wang family is located. It is said that he was able to hold 2 positions at the same time because he was the reading companion of the landlord's young master when he was a child. He could read and calculate accounts. In addition, he was of good family background, fair and impartial. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, the local people supported him. If he hadn't been devoted to the Wanglu Brigade and unwilling to leave, he would have been promoted to the commune long ago. According to the memory of the original owner Feng Qingxiu, the second uncle, third uncle, and aunt all respected the uncle very much. Many times they would come to ask Uncle Wang's opinion on many matters before making a decision. Uncle, just tell me if you have anything to do. Uncle Wang's silence made Feng Qingxiu speak directly. Little sister, tell me, Uncle Wang said to Aunt Wang instead. Aunt Wang nodded and took Feng Qingxiu's hand. Shui, how about your uncle and I introduce you to someone? What? Feng Qingxiu was stunned. The original owner was only 18, so he was just talking about marriage? She doesn't know, as she hasn't really lived in this era, that girls in this era get married at the age of 17 or 18. 18 is the legal age for marriage. Your uncle has been hesitating for a long time, fearing that you might not like this marriage, but I said that no matter what, I have to ask you what you mean. Aunt Wang then said what she was most worried about: although you have been separated now, I can't trust the character of your brother and sister-in-law. They could think of marrying you to a bachelor in exchange for food before. In the future, I'm so hungry, I might still sell you and King Yun. Even if we live separately, it's useless. I'm afraid you won't be able to save your house. Who told us that we always say that an elder brother is like a father and a sister-in-law is like a mother? Since your parents are gone, they have the right and reason to interfere in your marriage. After hearing these words, Feng Qingxiu was shocked, and there was a hint of anger on her face. She really hadn't thought about this problem. So, the most important thing is for you to get married and take Xiaoyun away from here. It will be far away and there will be less trouble. And Wang has a straightforward temper and speaks like a machine gun. If you don't like your uncle, I will give you that person. I will pay attention to you when the time comes and choose a good family to marry. It's just that life is difficult for everyone now, and many people don't want to have another mouth to eat. Auntie, who are you talking about? Feng Qingxiu asked curiously. Shui, please don't offend your uncle if I tell you this. This man's name is Lu Zhang. He is 10 years older than you. He is good looking, has a good personality, and is both civil and military. He has been a soldier for 12 years. But his family background is not good. His father is a landowner, and now the family has nothing, so it has been delayed until now. Aunt Wang lowered her voice unconsciously, not as cheerful as before, but she still insisted on finishing what she needed to say. Feng Qingxiu thought about many things, but she never thought about people from this kind of family. Landlord, an idea flashed in Feng Qingxiu's mind. Is it related to the young landlord who is studying with my uncle? Aunt Wang gave her an appreciative look. Lu Jiang's father is the young landlord who was studying with your uncle, named Lu Ziwen. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, all his family's land and property were confiscated by the state, and the land was distributed to the vast number of poor and lower middle peasants. I and my wife could not stand the ridicule of the ex-serfs. Died one after another in the ups and downs. The eldest son and eldest daughter-in-law were spoiled, and they could not bear the hardships and did not survive. The two boys were left to depend on him. Only the younger son Lu Zhang joined the army before the founding of the People's Republic of China and did not suffer much impact, but if we talk about great prospects, it's hard to say in the future. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 40. After Aunt Wang finished speaking, Uncle Wang continued to speak in a low voice. Shui, I'm not the kind of confused uncle who sends his niece into the tiger's mouth. I think Lu Zhang himself is very good, steady, and down to earth, smart and capable, and a soldier. The only flaw is his family background. Plus your current situation. I want to introduce him to you. Feng Qingxiu said hurriedly, I know uncle will not harm me. If he really wanted to harm her, he wouldn't have come all the way to collect so much food with his siblings. Moreover, for a person like Lu Zhang, even if he doesn't agree to meet him, there will definitely be discerning people who don't care about his family background who will fall in love with him and then form a marriage. In this era, the status of soldiers was quite high. Hearing what Feng Qingxiu said, Uncle Wang felt relieved and a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Actually, the Lu family is a philanthropic family with a kind heart. They are not the kind of people who treat their tenant farmers harshly. When I first selected the tenant farmers' children as companions, I read with Lu Ziwen for more than 10 years, starting when I was 7 years old. I got married at the age of 10, and I didn't feel angry at all. Instead, my whole family received a lot of favors from the Lu family. My brothers and sisters also received generous gifts from the Lu family when they got married. They didn't suffer much during the war. Now the Lu family has fallen because of the country's situation. Becoming the target of public criticism, I can't stay away like others, so I don't want to leave the Wanglu brigade, because I can secretly take care of them and prevent them from being bullied too much. Uncle repays his kindness and is a benevolent and righteous person, worthy of our juniors learning from Feng Qingxiu. Truly admired Uncle Wang. Under such circumstances, how many people can do this while thinking about old feelings? How many people in the world would help someone in times of need? There are many icings on the cake and few offering help in times of trouble. Most of them like to gloat over misfortunes and add insult to injury. Uncle Wang's eyes were full of joy. It's really good that you think so. In fact, although Lu Jiang was only 16 years old when he joined the army, he participated in many large and small battles. In the 2 years after the founding of the People's Republic of China, he was needless to say, he has a bright future as a cadre. Unfortunately, after the founding of the People's Republic of China, classes were divided. His father was a landlord, and his family became the target of attacks. He lost many opportunities for promotion over the years. However, because he participated in many battles, I have made meritorious deeds, so I have avoided the bad luck of being criticized. Shui, I can't understand the current situation in the country, and I can't guess what will happen in the future. You have good qualities. I will introduce you to him. If it happens, I don't know. Good or bad. Nowadays, marriage is about being well matched, not the old-fashioned way, but the red 5 category marrying the red 5 category, the black 5 category marrying the black 5 category, and the gray 5 category marrying the gray 5 category. It is a marriage that transcends class achievement. I really can't tell what the outcome will be. Aunt Wang's family is also from the Wanglu brigade. She added, Lu Jiang is a soldier. He is at home for only a few days throughout the year. You have to take care of your elders and your children by yourself. I'm afraid life will not be easy, and you will have to bear the brunt of the pain discrimination from all sides regarding family background. However, such a family will not refuse you to marry and take Xiaoun with you. After all, Lu Jiang's 2 nephews have to live with him and Lu Ziwen until they get married and start a family, as I said before. Life is difficult now, and many people don't want to have another mouth to eat. In the past 2 years, fewer young men and women are getting married than before, and they all have their own plans. Of course, it doesn't happen that there is no marriage exchange, or a wife comes back with just a little food.